Hi, everybody, and welcome. It's Judi Glova, and today is day 4 of the Burnout Solutions series. And I've collected some of the best experts for you to teach you all about how to have your own burnout solution. And I'm so excited because today is all about alignment. How are you in alignment with who you are, and what you're doing? And I want to remind you that we are meeting every day through this online series in our Facebook group called the More Than Enough Women's Circle. I'll be live today, this evening, so don't miss our daily recap and highlights, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. And I want to make sure that you can take action on the tools and the skills that you learn each day. So if you haven't already, head over to the More Than Enough Women's Circle. Now, let's kick things off with Jane Schwartz and Stephanie Goodman. So before I actually start, we have our conversation, I want to give you a little background about Jane and Stephanie. They are the Nourishing gurus, and they help busy professional women create sustainable, long-term, healthy eating habits by eliminating diets, overwhelm, and kitchen chaos. Their three-pronged approach, which can fit into any lifestyle, encompasses not only wholesome, energizing foods, but powerful habits and mindset shifts. And, I can tell you just from my exposure to them that they just have the most amazing content, and I can't wait to get started. And I want to highlight the fact that our talk today is titled Energize Your Business by Nourishing Your Body and Your Brain. So, hi, Jane and Stephanie. How are you?
Judi,
we're doing good.
Great. Well, great to have you here. And like I said, I just love what you do. I love the daily information that I get on my Instagram and in my Facebook feed. You probably see me hearting things and saying hello every morning. I always like to get new ideas. And I have to say, one of the things that it does for me is it reminds me to be mindful about what I eat during the day. So it's because of you guys, I didn't have that cookie yesterday. So let's actually get started. And my first question is, what's the importance of aligning what you eat with the success of your business? Like, how do those two things fit together?
So, yeah, that's a great question. Really, the bottom line is we want everyone to think about their health as an intricate part of their business. So how you treat your body matters. If you're not taking care of yourself, your business is going to be affected for sure. And it might even be ways you might not be aware of. I would say one of the more obvious ways is your immune system could be affected. So, you might get sick more often, and who has time for that, for sure, But most people might not be aware that your mood is actually really tied into what you eat, tied in with what you eat. So if your blood sugar is crashing midday because maybe you had a donut and coffee for breakfast, you're just going to be, I know I would be so cranky and irritable. I wouldn't be able to deal with people so well. I wouldn't be able to get much work done. But when you feel good and energized, what happens is your creativity flows. Your mood's going to be better, like I said. You'll just be more productive. And that cycles back around. The more productive you are, I know when I get more done, I'm happier. So it just all cycles back around. And then the more happier I am, the more energy I have to put into my business. So
cool. So what would be like a good mood food?
Well, we're going to get into definitely some of the good mood foods, but balancing blood sugar is really key.
Okay.
So good healthy fats, that is probably like coconut oil or avocado is one of the best good mood foods.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. And I do have to say that in the past, when I've eaten not so good, and usually by 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm toast. It's like, it's like my stamina. It is my mood. You're right. It is my mood, but it's also my stamina. It's just like, I can't come back. Even if I have something healthy, even if I do something, that's more nutritious, it just doesn't seem like I come back to life and I can really end the day with power. It's like once I've dipped, it's a crash. It's a crash and burn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about energy, and what do you talk about with your clients about energy, and how do we manage it? I mean, as busy business women, how do we manage that? What do we do?
Well, first of all, we like to talk about energy because it's really at the root of everything. Just like you were saying, Judi. I mean, when you let that slip, it's like it's hard to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're tired, if you're tired and you have foggy thinking, like you said, your stamina is low. You're not as up for like an important conference call, or if you have to meet with clients. And like Stephanie said, your mood can be affected. So that just affects everything. So we like to break it down and talk about cellular energy. And most people don't think about it this way because it's literally like the health of your cells that can create your energy. So the cells are responsible for taking nutrients in and letting waste out. So if they're acting really efficiently, that's when you're going to have your best energy. So it's kind of cool to think about it on like a microscopic level.
Right.
And that's the type of energy that you want to prevent burnout, and it's kind of cool to think about, well, how am I feeding my cells, not just your body, but your cells.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. And the problem that we see women running into is that they rely on outside energy to perk them up, right? So everybody's like, oh, I can't get by without my cup of coffee. Or we see people drinking, diet sodas now because they want to stay away from regular soda just to get their caffeine in.
Right.
And what we try to do is talk about like how do you run on your own fuel? Like what is, instead of, the caffeine, what's your own fuel that you run on? Well, that's your cellular energy. And not to say that we're not like anti-coffee.
Right.
We might not be pro-diet soda, but, but we like to get people running on their own fuel first. And then if they want to add in some coffee because they like the taste and they like the flavor, but not because they need a caffeine boost.
Okay.
So that's kind of where, that falls.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more though about, because I guess from my background in pharmaceuticals, like I get the cellular energy. It's like the mitochondria and like all that. That's like it's like a system. It's like an engine. And maybe it's not an engine, but anyway, for the
it is like the engine of the cell. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the energy, the engine of the cell. And it's like when you are giving the cell the right fuel, right? Then it actually creates that cellular energy in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is that instead of things like Coke and caffeine, or well, not Coke, but diet sodas, sorry, diet sodas or caffeine in other forms, it's really looking at how to boost it. So it's kind of like those biohacks. Like how do you biohack your body so that it's actually optimally running, right? So if there's certain cars that are the ultimate driving machine, you want to have your body's ultimate cellular driving machine, right?
That's right.
Okay, great. So if we're, and I know we're kind of going in that direction, it's like, how do we give people specifics about, what it is that they need to do?
Yeah, well, so what Jane had mentioned, that healthy cells, what they do is they take in the nutrients from the food that you're eating and get rid of the waste. So you just think about what you're eating throughout the day. Think obviously fruits and vegetables. Those are going to be the powerhouses, good healthy nuts, and we're going to be talking about a couple of brain foods. But you also, the good healthy cells need to get the waste out. So the more that you can limit all the toxins that you're taking into your body, the more energy the cells will have.
Okay. So there's energy foods and like waste eliminating foods. Would you say that there's those kind of, can you delineate them? I'm trying to map it out in my head. Is it just really when you focus on the good foods, they help you eliminate and help the cells really get healthy and running efficiently?
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's like about limiting, like Stephanie was saying, sort of toxins in the environment. So which could partially be food, like, damaged fats, like in fried foods or things that are hydrogenated or processed. So you're eliminating what you're bringing in. And then think just like, plastics and, things that might be in your makeup or your home, toxins in your home from cleaning supplies. So as you minimize those types of things and maximize the nutrients that you bring in, then that, it throws things, towards positive balance.
Okay, cool. So can we get into the specific energy foods? Are there specific ones that you like highly recommend, that you use all the time, that you think that, are just the best?
Well, anti-inflammatory diet overall
Okay.
is the best. So that's about, again, like great fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, like healthy fats, like Stephanie was talking about, and limiting the processed foods. So, that we just mentioned. And we find that like a lot of women don't realize how good they can feel. They're kind of used to going along a certain way. They're like, I feel pretty good, and then when you tweak their diet and they're like, wow, I didn't know I actually could feel this good.
Wow.
Because also what the cellular health does is it feeds your brain. Your brain, people always talk about heart disease and heart health.
Mm-hmm.
What the research is now showing is that heart health is just whatever you do to feed a healthy heart is the same thing for the brain.
Oh,
so
wow.
All those anti-inflammatory foods, all those like legumes and nuts and seeds and avocados and olive oil, and all your fruits and vegetables are going to be heart healthy and also brain healthy.
Gotcha. And I really want to tag on to the anti-inflammatory, because again, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I've read a few things, and I always like to check with experts about this. When we think about an anti-inflammatory diet, one of the reasons why I think it's really good for you is because we don't realize how much disease is created by the inflammation in our bodies, right? Like that's actually what creates the disease is part of it. I'm sure there's many other causes, right? There's hereditary, there's, DNA switching on, or your DNA switching on and off on some hereditary stuff. But it sounds like there's like with that, when we're eating all of those inflammatory foods, that actually creates the disease, and it weakens our bodies, it weakens our cells so that the toxins don't leave. And that's what makes us, is that what makes the inflammation? Like, help me out.
No, you're 100% right. That's true.
Oh my gosh.
So many diseases linked to inflammation as the starting point.
So okay.
100% right there.
Wow. I'm like,
sometimes it's not something you feel like, people think of inflammation like, oh, I prick my thumb and, and it gets red and sore, but you don't always see that's happening inside your body, but you don't always feel it. So things can be kind of creeping along, and then you don't really know what's going on until you get a blood work back and like, wow, my sugar level's high and my cholesterol is out of control,
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this then, because, there are certain times of the month where I start to feel bloated, and like, that's what I think in terms of inflammation. Like when I feel puffy, now, is that part of it, or that's just retaining water and all that kind of stuff? Like, is that part of the inflammation stuff, or is it just me making up a story?
You're making up stories, Judi.
Oh my gosh, I shouldn't do that.
I mean, I would say it's part of it, but it is more hormonal, what you're talking about. But
okay.
If you have more inflammation in your body, your hormones could be more out of whack.
Okay.
So it is linked.
Right. So yeah, everything is kind of linked, but I think that is a key point I want people to remember, because, we may be linking things to inflammation that really, if it's not something really we can see and feel, it's kind of like a silent thing that's happening that we don't, if we don't look at what we're eating. So we can guarantee the inflammation will be there if you're eating those bad foods. And I also want to go back to another point that you were making before about, we want to start with the high energy foods, and we also want to stop the toxins. And it's not just the toxins that we think of in our foods, but I mean, obviously we do want to stop the processed foods, but it's like our environment. When we think about the lighting maybe that we have, right? Plastics, cleaning supplies, like sometimes we just take those things for granted because they're quick and easy. It's like, hey, I'm a busy businesswoman. I just got to get stuff done. I'm just going to throw it in the thing of plastic and I'm gone. And, so what are some things and changes that you guys have done that have helped in terms of that, that plastic environment, cleaning supply lifestyle? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, this is one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we're done with the plastic water bottles. Definitely limit the plastics in our food. We really, and you know what, I want to stress that people don't have to go into a panic and go throw everything out overnight, but just make changes gradually. Look at the cleaning products you're using. You're breathing them in. Think about what you're putting on your skin. It gets all absorbed. I guess the biggest thing would be cleaning supplies, hair supplies, hair products.
Right.
Food storage containers.
Yeah.
We've switched over to glass instead of plastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I have those. That was one thing. And I really want to also emphasize that, it is those little things that if you just start off with the little things, like you get rid of the plastic water bottle and you have a glass one or a metal one, or, it's throwing away the plastic, food storage stuff and get some of the glass stuff. It's like little things mean a lot over time. And yeah, like you said, you don't have to go throwing things out immediately. It's being able to do little things that really matter. But I do think that what you're saying about picking the right energy foods for your cells is also like really, really a good choice. Like think about what you're putting in, because the food, it's more like the food, how do I say this? Food is fuel for your cells. And we confuse food, I think, a lot with pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm. True.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But we could definitely make food pleasurable and fuel efficient, and being able to focus on that.
That's our job.
Yeah.
That's what we
That's your job.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I pay attention to your Instagram and your Facebook feed. So I see your tips every day. And again, those are really great ways of reminding us how we can access. So are there any other strategies to keep in mind when you're thinking about nutrition as it relates to preventing burnout?
Well, yeah. So one of the big things that we work with our clients on is planning. So, you plan for your business, you make a business plan. When you go on vacation, you make a vacation plan. If you don't plan what you're going to eat, it's really hard to have success.
Got it.
There's a quote we like: every minute you spend in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. And it's just so true. So people are like, oh, I don't want to do a meal plan. I don't want to make a grocery list. And I'll wing it. And just that kind of sets them up for failure. Right. So building planning into your day or week can have huge benefits for you, for sure. Yeah. And we actually have that a guide that we put together called Nutrient Packed Snacks to Nourish Your Body, Brain, and Biz. Ooh. So that's people have access to that, and that'll just kind of give people an idea of like what we're talking about, healthy, energizing snacks. And we promise they're quick and easy, because we're all about quick and easy. We don't have more time in our day than anybody else does.
Right.
Just so they know that, but this helps you stay on track. But another thing that we really like people to think about is balance. Mm-hmm. So, what we have the balanced plate, you look at your plate and you really want to make sure there's fat, fiber, and protein at every meal. And that will keep you satisfied and energized for longer. So that's one way to keep balance. And the other is, and we know there's no such thing as the true work-life balance. We get that?
No, I actually, I'm like, nope, that doesn't work.
When you figure it out, let us know. But
yeah, exactly. I'd be a millionaire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
you do need to balance getting in your nutrition in with working. And it doesn't mean spending hours in the kitchen, but it does come down to knowing some quick, healthy strategies, planning, like I said, and we have so many recipes on our website, and just actually put time in your calendar for your nutrition. When you're going to maybe batch cook some meals or plan your meals out for the week, just put it on your calendar as you would a client meeting. Right.
Well, yeah. And again, I link it to you wouldn't drive your car without remembering to put gas in it. Right. So exactly. It's you gotta, literally when I go on a road trip, I have little things. It's oh yeah, fill up with gas, Yeah. So it's every trip that we're taking, our weekly trips of business, it's how are we getting ready for our fuel tank to be filled up? And, and I do think that I firmly believe that when it comes to burnout, we're going so fast. We're going 180 miles an hour. And if you don't slow down, right, to really think about what you're doing, yeah, it's wasted. It's like you actually are wasting energy and you're burning a fuel that's not efficient. So, being really mindful, planning it out, energizing snacks. I am all about having quick and easy. Like my whole my whole thing is I actually do have food as fuel, but it's got to be quick and easy because there are days like I literally have to schedule in my in my day planner, like when I have to walk the dog because I forget to walk her sometimes. And it's like I have to, and in some ways I have to remember to have those energizing snacks because I can crash. And I'll just get so into what I'm doing and enjoying and loving what I do that time just goes by and I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I getting a headache? Oh yeah, that's right. It's 2:00 and I haven't had any lunch. So it's like really having things, accessible and easy to have at hand, because if you don't have them, then, you just will grab the cookie.
We want to bring up one other point, and that's you talked about slowing down, and that's a huge thing about what we also try to guide people is slowing their eating down. And we know it's not easy, but we really strongly suggest carving out some time in your day just to eat. And making sure you actually, I know people are screaming no, but and just think about it, even like 1 or 2 meals a day away from the computer and not eating when you're driving, but making sure you're chewing your food and not gulping it down, because we're also really into making sure everybody's digestion is running well. And when you rush down your food and you're not chewing it well, your digestion is going to be affected, and certainly your cells are not going to get the nutrients that they need.
Right. And it's so interesting to me too. And again, this is just my personal reflection about it. It's like, I don't even taste my food anymore sometimes.
Exactly.
Right.
Did I eat? I don't remember it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, was that even good? And, there's times I've been to restaurants and I swear the food had no taste, unless it was salt, right? Or, sugar. But it's really interesting. Like when you actually slow down and you taste your food, that's always my little reminder of like, Judi, if you're not tasting your food, you're really not present and you're really not experiencing it. And yeah, chances are, that's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
So great. So I'm curious, just, in terms of what got you really excited about helping business women, like what was the thing that you just like, what created that passion for you guys to be working with business women that really want to be healthy?
Well, I'd say there's a couple things. One is people came on, our clients were coming to see us and they were telling us, oh, I'm too busy. Like, okay, let's first of all forget that mindset. You're not too busy. And another thing is people, and not just business people, but people think that healthy eating doesn't always taste good and it's really a lot of work. And we just really want to get that road across. And we love helping business people in the sense that we can help them energize their business by changing what they eat.
And plus we started our own business, we've been nutritionists for a while, but we joined forces about 5 years ago. Yeah. And we thought, well, we're moms and business women too, so we're kind of trying to live this lifestyle, and we can share what we get it, so we can share sort of what tricks we have and what we've learned, and with other people in similar situations.
Sure, yeah, because you were experiencing it yourself. It's like, your business starts taking off and you're just like, okay, I gotta eat, and how do I make sure that I'm eating the right stuff? And you got to walk your talk, right? So if you're helping other women and they're asking you what to do, you have to be able to say, well, I did this and I do this, and these are the results, right? It's like that and not only that, they watch you. They want to watch you, and they want to see that you're doing it, so that if you say something's easy, that it really is. And it's something that you can fit into the day. Fantastic. Great.
And we want to inspire women to be role models, like for their families. Because not that you're going to sit down every night and have a family dinner, we know that you have to be realistic, but that, they can show that even with a more hectic lifestyle, they're not backburnering, like we said, their own nutrition, and their family can see that it's a priority. It's really important.
Right. And when you think about it too, I mean, if, women are predominantly the ones that are responsible for meal preparation and shopping and all that kind of stuff, right? It's like, they're expected to know this stuff, and they're expected to do it like, and be able to manage the rest of the life too. So yeah, and I just think that the content that you have really does support people to even come up with new ideas, because that's the other thing. I think people just run out of ideas. Like, what do I do? Oh, I can put those two foods together. Oh, that's cool. You know, like sometimes I'll get inspired by going to a restaurant or something where they put, something together, and I'm like, oh, I can do that, but you guys have you guys have those reminders too of, oh, think about it this way, think about it that way, have some new ideas, because I think we all get bored and lazy, and it's like, we need that extra.
Yeah, people get in ruts.
We get into ruts. Yes, we do. Okay, so I wanted to also just ask you if there was one thing that businesswomen remember from all of the golden nuggets that we've talked about today. If there was one thing that you really, and you can each do one, or you can do one together. It's all okay. What would be that one thing that you really want them to remember?
Yeah, I would say it's really just think about your health as an intricate part of your business.
Okay.
It's not a separate entity that you do when you get a chance.
And I'm just curious, when you do hear that mantra of I'm too busy from your clients, like what's one of the things that you say to them?
That it's the messages that you feed your brain are what your brain's going to believe. So there, we talk about this quote that we like called, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yes.
So if you're constantly telling yourself, and it's not that don't have a lot going on, but you don't want to continually feed that to your brain. You want to send it positive messages and train your brain that, well, maybe I have things going on, but I can still manage my life. I can still plan things out so that I can fit these things into my life that are so important.
Yeah.
And so it's just like that kind of mental state.
Yeah. So it's like that, making it a priority, making it an intricate part of your business, but also it's like, you're going to be feeding your mind messages. You're going to be feeding your body, right? You're going to be feeding your body nourishing foods, and also activating your cells with energizing foods. So it's like on so many different levels, whether it's, the brain level, the body level, the cellular level. It's like, think about all of those levels to really support. And think about nutrition being, it's actually kind of fun when you think about it, when you really get into it and learn what it is that, and when we experiment on our bodies, like I've definitely done that, or I'm like, oh, let me see how what made me feel so good today? What did I eat? Because then I want to repeat that. I'm like, I want to have another day like that. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So let me just thank you so much for, making time for this. Also, we're going to be talking about your free gifts, and I just want to thank you for being so generous for our audience. And it's been amazing just having your insights and your wisdom. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Judi. We really appreciate. We're so honored to be here.
Great. So I want to remind everybody to remember to go down below and click on the link to get your free gift. Now, don't forget, you're also going to have an opportunity if you've purchased the VIP Backstage Pass. If you've already purchased that, then you'll also have access to their bonus material. So, and don't worry, if you haven't purchased the Backstage Pass, you still can. And it's really a burnout solution in and of itself, because when you purchase the Backstage Pass, you have access to all of the interviews all at once. You don't have to wait. So it's worry-free. You download all of them and you can have that access. And you can listen to them when you're driving and when you need that extra reminder about what's really important. And specifically for this conversation, it's reminding you to make nutrition an important piece of your business, right? How you nourish yourself, how you give yourself that fuel to be the great businesswoman that you are. So I do want to remind you one more time that we do have our awesome Facebook group, and I'll see you later on this evening answering your questions and obviously talking about any insights that we may have had. And I want to leave you with this little message of, think in terms of, instead of burning the candle at both ends, let your light burn brightly, knowing that you're more than enough. Most importantly, you can create your own burnout solution and you don't have to do it alone. So I will see you on the next awesome interview, and we'll see you in the Facebook group. See you then. Thanks for now. Bye-bye.